Kickstarters for this week. You're first with this game that I want to hear you try to pronounce.
All right. In Tenebris Lux.
Sure, sounds good.
Oh, it's Latin, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, probably.
Because the idea is it takes place in Victorian times, because it's like a Victorian horror game, but like the ancient labyrinths beneath Rome that hold very dark and disturbing things have opened up. So you're all playing adventurers, trying to find loot and glory in this very dark and terrible place.
All right.
It plays, you set up the labyrinth, and each game is going to be different because the labyrinth is cards. So you just set up, there's a center area, but then all these different rooms, they all do different things.
Okay.
And, of course, there's different explorers you can play as that help, again, with traps, that help with fighting, so on and so forth. And you also all have a secret vendetta. So maybe you're trying to gather the most loot. Maybe you want to kill another explorer.
So it's co-op other
No,
than
no co-op.
Oh, purely non-co-op.
Purely non-co-op.
Okay.
You are not friends. And you all have starting equipment, but you can find more stuff there. And, of course, monsters are going to appear. And there's a timer of the darkness before everything collapses. So I thought it looked really cool and fun and very modular in that sort of sense of that it's not just okay, we've played this game before, I know, always make a left here, right here, and so on and so forth. So, and, of course, cool artwork and style. So
yeah,
definitely I think a really cool game if you're into that sort of gothic horror style. How much does it go for again?
I like the Victorian stuff. It goes for $35, which is pretty reasonable.
Yeah. I think, isn't that like our priciest one on this list?
Yeah, that's the most expensive one we're going to be talking about today. We got a bunch of cheap ones for all you cheapskates out there. All
Us
right.
included.
Anything? That's it? We're good?
Honestly, I mean, yeah, just check it out. It's just a cool dungeon crawler with a Victorian theme and this cool sort of idea of a maze that I thought was really fun. Looked really fun.
I like it. I like mazes.
Now, you have an expansion.
That's right. That involves monsters from the deep. Necroboomicon, which is the first expansion for 2 rooms and a boom, which we've talked about in the show numerous times. The big party game, social deduction game. This is just a pack of cards. It only costs $5. Comes with 9 cards, and you can also buy the base with this for $25 if you want, which is a very good deal. And we don't actually yet know what the roles in this set do specifically. They haven't revealed it yet. We know they're Lovecraft themed and Cthulhu themed.
This is their mandatory Cthulhu expansion.
Exactly. But they have said a couple of things. For instance, that specifically this is going to be a little more challenging in some ways, a little more for advanced players, and that it's meant to make the game better for smaller groups. So even with groups of maybe 6 people, supposedly you're going to be able to play with this expansion and have a good time, whereas before you really needed like 9 or 10 to really get started.
And as someone who, we have had trouble getting 11. That is a very big deal for us.
Yeah, and I mean, when I first heard about this expansion, I wasn't sure because there's so many roles that we haven't tried yet. I was like, do I need another expansion already?
Jonathan, it doesn't matter. You always get the expansions.
Well, the reason that I did is because it's $5. So I was really happy about that. And it comes in a foil pack, so you just rip it out and put it right in the box. There's no weird case you have to worry about, no extra space in your shelf. If you like 2 rooms and a boom, you want to get this, and if you haven't tried it, this is a great way to pick it up.
I mean, if you we get a lot of people often in the same place, like over 10. Honestly, you really should be buying if you're watching this too.
I can't even think of any other games that are that good for over 10. That aren't like Cards Against Humanity
or beer pong or something.
Yeah. So check that one out. And now, Yukon Salon.
Yeah,
what's going on?
This is a card game about being a barber, salon owner, that caters specifically to lumberjacks and bears.
All right.
It sounds very funny, and it is, but it's really cool because it's actually a mechanic of you have to try to give certain haircuts to certain barbers or bears, and you match them up. They can be for either side. You can see on sort of behind you, sort of line up with either the chin or the top of the bear. Okay. And then you roll to see if it passes, and if they do, they actually give you things like you can fit more people in your salon. Maybe you roll better against lumberjacks. So it's not just look, I made a lumberjack with a pretty curly beard, There actually is some fun game mechanic style to it, which I thought was really cool. And it's nice to have that little mashup together of both fun and silly and actually have some sort of gaming in it.
No, that sounds cool. I mean, there aren't a lot of Barber games, and the art looks amazing.
No, the art is fantastic. I mean, it is just beautiful.
And that one it goes for just $15.
Yeah, no, it's really definitely something worth checking out.
That seems like a good pickup. I like it. And the next one is also just for $15.
And it's not on a Steam sale.
That's right. This is Superhot. Superhot. Based on the video game, another video game-based board game on Kickstarter. Now, the idea of the original game is the first-person shooter where time doesn't move unless you do. So if you stand still, everything's frozen, and if you shoot, things will move around.
The faster you move, the faster the world moves. So it's a planning action game?
Sure.
I guess.
Did you play the original game at all?
I played a little bit. I haven't really,
Because I've played the virtual reality version, which is awesome.
I gotta.
Which is the same exact concept, just in first-person VR.
It sounds. Anytime we put VR to it, doesn't it just become better?
Yeah, usually. But even better than VR, a card version. So this is actually based on another game by the same creator. They said called Agent Decker, I want to say, which I think it's sort of in this. They're kind of like taking that idea and translating it to this, I think. And basically, it's a deck building game with a very small number of cards, actually. It's a pretty tiny game. And there's a lineup, and you're using different types of currency to buy cards. The thing that kind of makes it weird and interesting is, say you played 3 cards on your turn, 3 cards from the lineup are removed. And that's how they represent time moving as you move.
The more you play, the more...
So there might be an enemy in the lineup that if you play a card, you don't have to worry about anymore. Or there also might be something that benefits you at the end of the turn. So if you move too fast, you'll miss it. So that's where you kind of have to strategize. And the other thing that I think is very interesting about this is that it's for 1 to 3 players only. You can actually try the solo mode right now on Tabletopia, if you can download the rules for that. Which is kind of, I guess, makes sense because it sort of is mimicking the video game.
Which is a single-player game.
And the other modes are you can do 2 players co-op or 1 versus 2 players. And 1 player actually gets to control how the cards come out to attack people. So a lot of versatility in there.
Great, definitely for its price, especially for a solo game, I think. That's a big deal.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool that they're pushing that. So check out Superhot. That's probably that's the new hotness. And then finally, we just wanted to briefly mention.
Yes, we've talked a little bit every now and then about Dark Raven. They do these awesome soundtracks, and they actually are doing one specifically for the Deep Madness game, which we did have a Kickstarter Pickstarter. I did back it.
You backed it.
So I'll probably be backing this too because we both love cool music in our games. It's one of the reasons we actually really love the Flying Frog games and stuff like that.
Yeah, cool horror music. That's $16 for the standard set. And they have a bunch of tiers of more music you can get. Yeah, that's pretty cool that they're doing that. It's a game that definitely can use some spooky ambiance.
I mean, probably any of those large miniature games probably could do a soundtrack because they last that long.
Right. Check out all those Kickstarters and let us know what your picks were for the week if you want.